The lunar colony of New Armstrong stretched across the moon's surface like a collection of gleaming silver bubbles, connected by transparent tubes that allowed its inhabitants to watch Earth hanging in the star-studded blackness above. Inside the colony's Advanced Sciences Division, 13-year-old Cassandra Reynolds glided through the corridors in her quantum-powered mobility device, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface that controlled both her movement and the complex calculations displayed before her. "Another breakthrough, Cass?" Dr. Patel called out as she passed the quantum computing lab. The elderly scientist had been her mentor since she'd first shown an aptitude for theoretical physics at age 8. "Almost there," Cass responded, her dark eyes sparkling with excitement. "I think I've found a way to modify the quantum entanglement field to enhance our deep space communications. Just need to run a few more simulations." The mobility device hummed softly as it carried her toward her private lab, a privilege earned after she'd helped optimize the colony's life support systems last year. Few knew that her mobility device was actually an experimental quantum computer interface of her own design, built to help her overcome the effects of the rare genetic condition that had weakened her muscles since birth. As the lab doors slid open with a soft hiss, Cass felt the familiar comfort of being surrounded by her equipment. Holographic displays sprang to life, showing her ongoing projects, theoretical models of faster-than-light travel, studies of quantum entanglement, and her personal favorite, attempts to decode mysterious signals from deep space that the colony's arrays had picked up 6 months ago. She was deep in her calculations when the first anomaly appeared. The quantum field sensors in her device detected it before the colony systems did, a subtle distortion in spacetime, like a ripple in reality itself. Cass's fingers flew across her controls, recording data as the distortion grew stronger. The air in her lab began to shimmer, and the temperature dropped dramatically. "This can't be right," she muttered, watching as her instruments registered impossible readings. "The quantum fluctuations are off the charts." Before she could alert colony security, a brilliant light filled the room, coalescing into a swirling portal of iridescent energy. Through it stepped 3 beings that defied description. Their bodies seemed to be made of living crystal, shifting and flowing like liquid glass. They towered over her, their forms refracting light in ways that created mesmerizing patterns on the lab walls. "Cassandra Reynolds," they spoke in unison, their voices resonating directly in her mind. "The one whose mind bridges the gap between quantum and organic." Cass's heart raced, but years of dealing with physical challenges had taught her to keep her composure. "How do you know my name? What are you?" "We are the Zythians," the tallest being responded, its crystalline form pulsing with soft light. "We have watched your progress, your ability to merge organic thought with quantum computation. You are unique in all the known galaxies. And that's why you're here?" Cass asked, her scientific curiosity beginning to overcome her fear. Her fingers never stopped moving across her interface, recording everything. "Our world faces extinction," another being explained, projecting images into her mind of a beautiful crystalline planet orbiting a dying star. "The great guardian, keeper of our quantum core, has fallen into a deep slumber. Without its power, our civilization will crumble. You, with your unique fusion of human consciousness and quantum understanding, are the only one who can wake it." Cass's mind raced with implications. "The signals we've been receiving, they were from you? A quantum beacon, seeking one who could understand. You began to decode it, proving your potential." The third being moved forward, extending a crystalline appendage. "We need your help, Cassandra Reynolds. Will you come with us to Zyth?" Warning alarms began blaring throughout the colony. Her lab sensors had finally detected the quantum disturbance. Soon, security would arrive, and this incredible moment would be lost in a flood of protocols and quarantine procedures. Cass looked at the beings, then at her mobility device's display showing the beautiful complexity of the quantum fields surrounding them. In that moment, she made her decision. "I'll help you," she said firmly, "but on one condition: I want to understand everything about your quantum technology. No secrets. The being's crystalline forms sparkled with what seemed like amusement. We would expect nothing less from the one who bridges worlds. As security forces pounded on her lab door, As guided her mobility device into the portal. The last thing she saw before the portal closed was Dr. Patel's astonished face through the lab window, and she managed a small wave goodbye. She didn't know what awaited her on Zyth, but she knew this: whether in a quantum-powered mobility device or through a portal to another world, she had never let anything hold her back. She wasn't about to start now. The quantum portal deposited Cass onto a world that defied everything she thought she knew about planetary physics. The surface of Zyth was a vast expanse of crystalline structures that seemed to grow naturally from the ground, their surfaces refracting the light of a massive blue-white star that dominated the violet sky. Her mobility device's sensors were overwhelmed by the quantum energy signatures emanating from everything around her. Welcome to the heart of Zyth, the crystalline beings. Now she could see there were thousands of them, their forms merging with and emerging from the landscape itself, announced in their resonant mental voice. This is where the Great Guardian rests. As they guided her through twisting corridors of living crystal, Cass's device recorded readings that would revolutionize quantum physics, if she ever made it back to share them. The entire planet seemed to function as one massive quantum computer, with information flowing through the crystalline structures like blood through veins. "I don't understand," Cass said, her fingers flying across her holographic interface. "These energy patterns, they're similar to the quantum entanglement fields I was studying, but on a planetary scale. How is this possible?" The tallest Zythian, who had introduced itself as First Resonance, responded. "The Great Guardian created this system eons ago, harmonizing our world with the quantum fabric of spacetime itself. But now..." They emerged into a vast chamber that seemed to stretch forever, its walls lined with pulsing veins of light that all converged on a central point. There, suspended in a web of energy, was something that made Cass's breath catch in her throat. It wasn't exactly a dragon, not in the Earth mythological sense, but Cass could understand why they called it that. Its body was a swirling mass of quantum energy given physical form, with crystalline scales that shifted between states of matter. Wings of pure light extended from its body, and its head was crowned with horns that seemed to pierce through dimensions. But it was clearly dormant. The energy flowing through it was weak, erratic. Through her quantum interface, Cass could see the complex patterns breaking down. "The Guardian is failing," Second Resonance explained. "And with it, the quantum matrix that sustains our world. We brought you here not as a sacrifice, but because you are the only being we've found who might be able to communicate with it." "Me?" Cass moved her device closer to the Guardian, fascinated by the readings she was getting. "Because of my neural quantum interface? Because you understand both worlds, organic and quantum. The Guardian was created by beings who, like you, bridged that gap. Their knowledge was lost to time, but you've independently begun to rediscover it." Cass studied the Guardian's energy patterns through her holographic displays. They were similar to the quantum algorithms she'd been developing, but vastly more complex. Yet there was something familiar about them, something that resonated with the neural interface she'd designed for her mobility device. I think I might be able to interface with it," she said slowly. "But I'll need to modify my quantum field generators. And I'll need to understand more about how your world's quantum matrix works." "You would risk linking your consciousness directly to the Guardian?" Third Resonance asked. "The process could be dangerous. Your mind would be exposed to pure quantum information." "Risk is relative," Cass replied with a slight smile. "Everyone told me it was impossible to build a quantum neural interface for my mobility device too. But here I am." Her fingers danced across her controls, already calculating the modifications she'd need to make. "Besides, this is the opportunity of a lifetime, to learn about an entirely new form of quantum technology." The Zythian's crystalline forms vibrated with what she was learning to recognize as approval. They began sharing information, teaching her about their world's quantum systems. But as Cass worked, she noticed something troubling in the Guardian's energy patterns. Its deterioration wasn't natural. There were signs of external interference. Someone or something had been tampering with the quantum matrix. She kept this observation to herself for now, focusing on establishing a preliminary connection through her device's sensors. As she made the first tentative link with the Guardian's quantum field, she felt something brush against her consciousness, ancient, powerful, and very much aware. The Guardian wasn't sleeping. It was waiting. And now it had found what it was looking for. The moment Cass's consciousness touched the Guardian's quantum field, her world exploded into infinite dimensions of understanding. Her mind expanded beyond the confines of normal spacetime, seeing the universe as the Guardian saw it, a vast web of interconnected quantum possibilities. "You are different from the others they have brought," the Guardian's thoughts resonated through her consciousness. Its mental voice was like a symphony of quantum frequencies, each harmonic carrying layers of meaning. "You do not fear the space between states." Cass struggled to maintain her focus, her mobility device's quantum processors straining to translate the enormous flow of information. You've been awake this whole time? Why pretend to be dormant?" Through their connection, the Guardian shared visions of the past, of other civilizations that had tried to harness its power, of wars fought over control of Zyth's quantum matrix. "The Zythians are young," it explained. "They believe they created me, but I am far older than their civilization. I am a sentinel, placed here to guard against a threat they cannot comprehend." The revelation hit Cass like a physical force. "The interference I detected in the quantum matrix, it's not decay, is it? Someone's attacking the system." "Yes." The Guardian's consciousness brushed against hers again, this time sharing more focused images. "They call themselves the Void Hunters, beings who exist in the spaces between quantum states. They seek to collapse all possibilities into a single reality they can control. For millennia, I have maintained the quantum barriers that prevent them from entering this dimension. But now..." Cass saw it through the Guardian's quantum senses, microscopic tears in the fabric of reality, spreading like cracks in glass. Her device's readings confirmed what she was seeing. "The barriers are failing. But why now? And why did you wait for me?" "Because you are like those who made me, a bridge between classical and quantum existence. Your neural interface proves it. Only such a being can help reinforce the quantum barriers." The Guardian's mental tone became urgent. "But the Void Hunters know you are here. They will try to stop us." As if in response to the Guardian's warning, alarms began blaring throughout the crystalline chamber. The Zythians' mental voices cried out in panic. Quantum distortions were appearing throughout the city, unlike anything they had seen before. "First resonance," Cass called out. "We need to establish a quantum shield around this chamber. The Guardian isn't dying, it's under attack." The crystalline beings moved swiftly, their forms flowing together to create defensive patterns. But Cass could see through her quantum interface that it wouldn't be enough. The Void Hunter's attack was coming from between the quantum states, spaces the Zythians couldn't even perceive. "I need to strengthen my connection to the Guardian," Cass announced, her fingers flying across her holographic controls. "If I can fully integrate my neural interface with its quantum field, maybe we can." "The risk is too great," First Resonance protested. "A direct neural link to the Guardian's full power could overwhelm your consciousness." Cass smiled grimly. "Like you said, I'm unique in all the known galaxies. Let's find out why." She initiated the connection sequence, pushing her quantum interface to its limits. The Guardian's consciousness merged more fully with hers, and suddenly she could see them, the Void Hunters. They existed as impossibilities, geometric patterns that hurt to look at, their very presence threatening to collapse the quantum wave functions around them. Through her enhanced perception, Cass realized something crucial. her human consciousness, trained by years of working with quantum systems but still fundamentally tied to classical physics, could perceive solutions that neither the purely quantum Guardian nor the crystalline Xylethians could conceive. "We don't need to fight them directly," she communicated to the Guardian. "We need to increase the number of quantum possibilities, make reality so complex they can't collapse it." The Guardian's approval resonated through their link. Together, they began weaving new quantum paths, creating layers upon layers of possibility. Cass's understanding of quantum physics combined with the Guardian's raw power, creating defensive patterns that existed in multiple states simultaneously. But as they worked, Cass became aware of something else through their connection, a hidden quantum signature, buried deep in Zyth's core. Someone on the planet was helping the Void Hunters. Someone was trying to bring down the quantum barriers from within. The Guardian confirmed her suspicion. "Now you see why I waited for an outsider. The threat is not just from between states, it is here, among the crystals." As the quantum shields stabilized around them, Cass made a decision. She wouldn't just help the Guardian defend against the Void Hunters, she would help find the traitor. But first, she needed to understand more about Zyth's quantum technology, about the Guardian's true purpose, and about why she, a 13-year-old girl from Earth's moon, could do what no one else could. The answers, she suspected, would challenge everything both humanity and the Zylethians thought they knew about the universe. The quantum shield around the Guardian's chamber shimmered with fractal patterns as Cass worked frantically at her holographic interface. Through her neural link with the Guardian, she could sense the Void Hunters probing for weaknesses, their impossible geometries testing the quantum barriers. But it was the traitor's signal she was trying to trace, a subtle disruption in Zyth's crystalline matrix that kept slipping away whenever she got close. "Whoever it is knows how to mask their quantum signature," she muttered, her fingers dancing across the controls. "They're using the planet's own energy flows to hide their location. The betrayer must be someone with deep knowledge of our systems," First Resonance observed, its crystalline form pulsing with concern. "One of our quantum architects, perhaps?" The Guardian's consciousness brushed against Cass's mind. "There is another possibility. Show them what you discovered." Cass hesitated, then projected her findings onto the chamber walls using her device's holographic systems. "These energy patterns in the quantum matrix, they're not random interference. They're code fragments, pieces of a program written into the fabric of reality itself. Someone's been modifying Zyth's quantum architecture for years, preparing for this moment." The assembled Zylethians vibrated with shock as they processed this revelation. "Impossible," Third Resonance protested. "Any unauthorized alterations to the matrix would have been detected." "Not if they were made by someone who helped build the original system," Cass pointed out. She took a deep breath before continuing. I think there's another Guardian." The chamber erupted in mental chaos as the Zylethians reacted to this suggestion. But before anyone could properly respond, proximity alarms blared throughout the complex. The quantum distortions were intensifying, and now they were accompanied by something else, ships dropping out of hyperspace above Zyth. "Multiple vessels detected," Second Resonance reported, its form shifting anxiously. "They bear no known quantum signatures." Through her link with the Guardian, Cass saw them, sleek, predatory ships that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. They took up positions around the planet, their weapons already charging. The Void Hunters aren't just trying to break through anymore, Cass realized. This is a full invasion. They're trying to force us to lower the quantum barriers. The Guardian's consciousness surged with ancient power. They serve the betrayer, the one who was once my partner in maintaining the quantum barriers. But the vastness of space drove them mad, made them believe that infinite possibility was a curse rather than a gift. They seek to collapse all reality into a single, controllable state. Cass's mind raced as she processed this information. "That's why I can help, isn't it? Because humans exist in a state between classical and quantum physics, we understand both limitation and possibility. Yes. And now you must make a choice, Cassandra Reynolds. I can give you access to Zyth's full quantum matrix, enough power to fight back. But the strain on your neural interface, on your human consciousness. Could it kill me? Cass asked bluntly. The risk is significant. Above them, the Void Hunters' ships began their attack. Energy beams that somehow existed in negative space struck Zyth's quantum shields, creating cascading failures across the grid. The crystalline spires of the city rang like massive bells as they absorbed the impact. Cass thought of her lab back on the lunar colony, of Dr. Patel and her parents. She thought of all the times people had told her what she couldn't do because of her physical limitations, and how she'd proved them wrong again and again. My whole life, I've been pushing the boundaries between what is and what could be, she said firmly. I'm not going to stop now. Give me access to the Matrix. The Guardians' approval resonated through their link. As the Void Hunters pressed their attack and the traitor's signal grew stronger, Cass began the integration sequence. Her quantum interface blazed with energy as it connected to Zyth's planetary matrix, flooding her consciousness with astronomical amounts of data. Through the pain of neural overload, through the screaming of her overtaxed systems, Cass began to see the pattern, the subtle quantum signature that connected the ships above to a specific point deep within Zyth's crystalline crust. The traitor's hiding place. I've found them, she announced through gritted teeth, projecting the coordinates to the assembled Zythians. And I know why they chose to reveal themselves now. They're not just trying to help the Void Hunters invade, they're trying to wake something up. Something buried in Zyth's core since the beginning of your civilization. The Guardian's consciousness became very still. The negation engine. My former partner's final project, a device capable of collapsing all quantum states within a galaxy into a single reality. Then we need to move fast, Cass declared, already plotting a course through the crystalline corridors in her mind. Because if that device activates, it won't just be Zyth that falls. The quantum collapse will spread across spacetime itself, reaching Earth, the lunar colony, everything. As she guided her mobility device toward the exit, First Resonance moved to stop her. You cannot face the betrayer alone. Cass smiled grimly. I won't be alone. I'll have the quantum matrix of an entire planet at my disposal. Her holographic displays flickered with power as she interfaced more deeply with Zyth's systems. Besides, they're expecting warriors or quantum architects. They're not expecting a 13-year-old girl who's spent her whole life learning to exist between states of can and cannot. With that, she plunged into the crystalline depths of Zyth, racing against time to prevent the collapse of all possibility itself. Deep beneath Zyth's crystalline surface, Cass guided her mobility device through ancient corridors that hadn't seen light in millennia. The quantum matrix flowed through her consciousness like a river of pure information, showing her paths and possibilities that even the Zythians had forgotten existed. Above, the Void Hunters' ships continued their assault on the planet's shields, while below, something vast and terrible stirred in its ancient sleep. Through her neural link with the Guardian, she sensed the negation engine's location growing closer, a void in the quantum field, a place where possibilities went to die. Her device's sensors were struggling to handle the contradictory readings, but Cass pressed on, using her human ability to process paradox to make sense of the impossible space. She emerged into a vast spherical chamber that seemed to exist in negative space, its walls absorbing light rather than reflecting it. At its center hovered a crystalline figure unlike any of the other Zythians. Its form was jagged, broken, as if it had been shattered and reformed countless times. The child who bridges worlds, the figure spoke, its mental voice a discordant symphony that made Cass's neural interface crackle with interference. You've come to witness the end of chaos, the birth of perfect order. You're the other Guardian, Cass replied, keeping her voice steady despite the pain of maintaining her connection to the quantum matrix. The one who couldn't handle the infinite. I handled it for eons, the betrayer roared, its form fluctuating violently. Watching over endless possibilities, protecting the quantum barriers between dimensions. Until I realized the truth, infinity is a curse. The multiverse is a mistake that must be corrected. The chamber's walls rippled as the negation engine began to power up, its anti-quantum field growing stronger. Through her link with the Guardian, Cass could feel reality itself beginning to compress, possible futures collapsing into a single, unchangeable timeline. "You're wrong," Cass declared, her fingers flying across her holographic interface as she fought to maintain her connection to Zyth's systems. Infinity isn't a curse, it's what gives life meaning. Every choice, every possibility, every dream of what could be. Meaningless chaos. The betrayer's form expanded, filling the chamber with fractal patterns of darkness. Once the negation engine activates, there will be only one path, one reality, one perfect order. No more uncertainty, no more quantum flux, no more change. Cass felt her neural interface beginning to overload as the anti-quantum field intensified. But in that moment of crisis, she had an epiphany. She understood why she had been chosen, why her unique perspective was needed. "You know what your perfect order really is?" she asked, a plan forming in her mind. "It's stagnation. Death. I understand now, humans aren't just bridges between classical and quantum physics. We're proof that both can coexist. Every choice we make collapses quantum possibilities into reality, but every dream we dream creates new possibilities." She began reconfiguring her quantum interface, doing something that should have been impossible, using her human consciousness to hold multiple quantum states in superposition while simultaneously experiencing them as classical reality. "What are you doing?" the betrayer demanded, sensing the change in the quantum fields around them. "Something impossible," Cass replied through gritted teeth. "I'm choosing all possibilities at once." Through her connection to the Guardian and Zyth's matrix, Cass began generating new quantum states faster than the negation engine could collapse them. Her human mind, trained by years of existing between ability and disability, between limitation and possibility, served as an anchor point for infinite potential. The betrayer attacked, trying to sever her connection to the matrix, but Cass was ready. She used her mobility device's quantum processors to dodge between moments of time, existing in multiple states simultaneously. Each attack missed her by virtue of her being everywhere and nowhere at once. "The Void Hunters taught me how to collapse reality," the betrayer snarled. "What makes you think you can stop us?" "Because," Cass gasped, pushing her neural interface to its absolute limits, "you forgot what it means to be truly alive. Life isn't about certainty, it's about possibility." With that, she executed her final command. Instead of fighting the negation engine's attempt to collapse quantum states, she inverted its field, using its own power to expand possibility instead of constraining it. The reaction was instantaneous and catastrophic. The chamber exploded with quantum energy as the negation engine's collapse field rebounded on itself. The betrayer screamed as their carefully constructed plan imploded, their form shattering across multiple quantum states. Above, the Void Hunters' ships found themselves caught in an explosion of pure possibility, their negative space technology unable to handle the surge of quantum potential. Cass felt her consciousness beginning to fade as her neural interface reached critical levels. But before she could slip away, she felt the Guardian's presence supporting her, helping her maintain her connection to her physical form. "Well done, Bridgemaker," it communicated as reality stabilized around them. "You have shown us all a new way forward." In the aftermath, as Zyth's quantum matrix rebalanced itself and the Zylethians began rebuilding their damaged cities, Cass made modifications to her mobility device. The experience had taught her new ways to interface with quantum systems, new possibilities for bridging the gap between classical and quantum physics. "Will you stay?" First Resonance asked as she prepared to return home. "You could help us rebuild, continue to explore the quantum matrix." Cass smiled, looking at the holographic images of her worried parents waiting for her back on the lunar colony. I need to go back, not just for them, but for everyone. What I've learned here, what I've become, it could change everything back home. And isn't that what possibility is all about? The Guardian's consciousness touched hers one final time. You will always be welcome among the quantum paths, Cassandra Reynolds. You have taught us that true strength lies not in controlling reality, but in embracing all its infinite possibilities. As the quantum portal opened to take her home, Cass took one last look at the crystalline world that had changed her forever. She had come thinking she was limited by her physical form, only to discover that her true strength lay in existing between states, between human and quantum, between limitation and possibility, between what was and what could be. The future, she knew, was full of infinite potential. And she was ready to explore every possibility it held.